Hey, this is Ben at Bushwhacker, reminding you to get all your best Jeep news from the XJ Talk Show. And don't forget to follow Bushwhacker on Facebook and Twitter.
Well, Tony switched the music up on me, and I was grooving in the blues, as it were, just a little bit ago. You guys are joining us on our YouTube channel. This is a little bit of the pre-show. We'll have the live show beginning here in probably about another 5 minutes or so. Sit tight. Hey guys, if you're still watching us here, getting ready for on the pre-show, we're just tidying up a couple things. Tony should be joining us here in just a moment, and we will be broadcasting the show here in just a little bit. Sit tight.
Hey guys, welcome to the XJ Talk Show. And hey Josh, check your time. I'm showing 10:07 on my computer, but I'm showing like 10:03 on other clocks.
Yeah, I've been noticing over the last few times we've connected that your time is a little bit faster than mine. I've got 8:04 on my computer time.
Something's not syncing on automatic syncing.
My cell phone time is also 8:04.
Yeah, I figure my computer's off. Yeah, 10:04. I'll have to change the update period. Well, this is interesting. YouTube is saying, warning, your stream will be terminated if you continue to broadcast content that you're not authorized to use.
I wonder if it's recognizing something encoded in the music that you're playing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's everything that I've purchased. So, just a heads up to you guys, and in case the broadcast goes away.
Hey, real quick, on our Amazon list, I'm seeing a bunch of stuff that's highlighted.
Those are the ones. The ones that are in red are the ones I've selected to talk about tonight.
Okay.
That's strange. Just looking here at the music list, I don't see anything that I queued up to play that is anything other than what I've purchased. I need to grab your intro. I'll just have to look at it after the show. All they're doing is giving me an example of what copyright violation is. Yeah, I know what copyright violation is.
I think we're well aware.
It could be. I remember there was a thing a while back where there were people in other countries, Brazil and stuff, that were claiming copyright infringements on videos. Just to, I don't know if it was somebody just messing around or if it was one of those hostage things where they try to take your videos offline and then get you to pay them through PayPal or something to stop doing it.
Wow.
So we'll just have to see. I didn't. That's the first I've seen is this warning that's popped up on the screen. Okay, sorry about that. Had a little take care of a little something beforehand. And is there anything we need to discuss? I've got the show opener ready.
No, I don't think so. We're not doing any interview or anything tonight, right?
No, just us.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure I see the what we're doing as far as the Amazon button. What? So, yeah, no, I'm good to go. Although I just saw what you had typed in chat. I thought we had gone over that.
As long as you remember it.
Yeah. I guess we never really completely 100% confirmed. We talked about it, talked about the idea of what we're going to do, but never, I guess, really completely finalized it. I remember you saying that you were okay with what we had planned on doing. But I guess we didn't ever really talk about that. I just put something in chat. There we go. Yeah, we're both thinking the same thing. But yeah, that's it.
So that's probably it. Let me have a quick look so I'll make sure.
I want to say I put a link in. It was probably episode 96, 97, maybe 98.
I think I can just do a search and find it real quick.
Yeah, I think it was one of those, yeah, here, put the link in the show notes so we don't forget.
Why don't you pull that up in a tab so both of us will have it and we can read it?
Yep. that be the one. Although I thought I remember seeing it a little bit less than that. I swear the price has gone up. Huh?
It could have gone up.
Yeah. But if you're fine with that, still, then I still think that's a great idea.
Pull this one up instead.
Yeah, I like that one better.
I think that's the one that we were looking at because of the price.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, let's.
The other one's fine, but it's not reminiscent of, the episode.
No, and I like this one better just because of what's in it.
Oh, good.
Cool.
Okay, let me do a quick audio check on our call-in line.
What do you want me to call it?
No.
Oh.
Conference muted.
I'm bleeding from my ears now, but I heard it. Okay. So again, sorry guys, we were getting a little late start. Had a bit of a emergency here in the hacienda. If you're not familiar with Spanish, which I think that means house. Casa, le casa. Man, that's a lot of vodka.
Oh, please. It's a work night, man.
Put some ice in there.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we can get going. I think I'm ready.
All right, real quick, take a look at chat.
I did not get a chance to do the voicemails again tonight. I was slacking. I was, after working on the Jeep, I actually was watching The Walking Dead prior to the show.
Oh, lucky you.
So I'll have to apologize.
Wednesday.
I'll have to apologize to Nikki G again.
Oh, no, I'm sure he takes everything in stride. He knows what's going on here.
Alrighty. I probably should turn the recorder on.
Oh, that might come in handy.
This program for a breaking news bulletin. Milestones on podcasts and kidney stones in my pants. More after this.
XJ Talk Show is on the air. Okay, it's a podcast. Oh, you know what I mean. Anyway, here's Tony and Josh.
Hey, welcome to episode 100. That's a 1 with 2 zeros behind it. And we're damned happy to be, anywhere, I guess.
Oh, I am ecstatic, and I am really looking forward to the show. We're going to have a lot of fun. We got a ton of stuff lined up for you guys for the show. We might even go long. Who knows?
Yep, and we have a special prize tonight. We're going to be doing Amazon You Bought and What, but we're going to have a special prize in honor of our 100th episode. Should we tell them what it is, or should we wait a bit and tease this a bit now and then tell them later?
Yeah, let's tease it for now. We'll get into good stuff later on. Folks, if you aren't familiar by now, we introduced a new concept to the show here. I don't know, about 3-4 episodes back or something like that. It's called You Bought and What, and the gist of it is we're going to give something away. It's all about the keyword boughten, and we'll get into the history of that here in a little bit as well. But yeah, folks, in celebration of 100 episodes, we're going to be giving away a grand prize tonight, and you definitely do not want to miss out.
No, and you do have to be here at the live show if you're not familiar with the live show. And this isn't going to be the last time we do the Amazon You Bought and What, so you can still get in here and win. You just won't be able to win the special 100th episode prize. But there'll be other things coming up. So what you should do is you should go over to YouTube. I was thinking Ustream, but I actually said YouTube. You go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/user/xjtalk. And you'll see a live event scheduled there. You know, sometimes we're bad and we don't actually schedule it till about an hour before the show. But if you go there, you'll see it pop up at least, I will say an hour before the show at least, but sometimes a week ahead of time. And it comes on every It comes on every Sunday at 10 p.m. Central Time. So we'd love to have you here. There is interaction through the comments on YouTube. While watching the video, and it's not quite a chat room, but people have seem to be getting the same kind of fun value out of it, like the old Ustream show we used to have.
Oh yeah, a lot of fun. Occasionally, myself or Tony will pop into that comment section and have a little sniper attack of comments that pop in every now and again. But nonetheless, it's still a lot of fun, and hope you guys join us for all of our live episodes. This one just happens to be special because it's our 100th episode.
Yeah, I still think about the syndication deal and how you want to get that episode 100, because then you can just sit back and the royalty checks come in from all the independents that are vying to buy your show, and yeah, it was just that's not the case on a weekly talk show, I don't think.
No, not quite yet. At least I think we're barking up the tree of that. Hopefully sometime soon. But yeah, no, it's I think it'll happen. We certainly have a very unique podcast here, and we definitely got probably one of the better podcasts in the industry going on here, especially in our market.
Well, that's what I think about when I'm my head's hit the pillow and I'm going to sleep. We've got one of the best podcasts on the market. Now, I really don't know about that, but I do know we got one of the best Jeep Cherokee sites in the world, and that's xjtalk.com, which is the entire reason why Josh and I are here. This show is just here to help promote that website. Josh and I are a bit of hams, and we like getting in front of the mics and talking. Okay. So it certainly is another hobby that we have that. First off is the Jeep, and by the way, we are two Jeep Cherokee owners. I've got the 98 model, and Josh has the 99 model. Unfortunately, only one of us has a red Jeep. But
hey now, I wouldn't call that an unfortunate.
Well, you know how it is.
Ooh, red Jeeps are sexy.
Yeah, this is a program brought to you by Jeep owners for Jeep owners. Of course, you don't necessarily have to own a Jeep if you're just even interested in Jeeps. This is a great show for you. And like Tony said, it's all because of xjtalk.com. It is probably the premier, if not the best place to go for Jeep tech information, especially all the cool little Cherokee tech info that you're not going to find anywhere else. Lots of pics on the site, tons of friendly people. In fact, probably the most friendliest site on the web as far as automotive tech and off-roading goes.
Yeah, and I'll just mention really quick the premise behind, because there's a lot of really good Jeep Cherokee sites out there. The premise behind XJ Talk and the reason for it being even started was we just got tired of seeing people being abused on other sites. And you know what I'm talking about, the flames.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, Pirate, is it Pirate 4x4? I haven't gone there in such a long time. Pirate 4x4 is the poster child for abuse. And, if you don't have a thick skin and you go over to Pirate and post, it's going to get thick, or you're going to go be crawling under the bed crying, because they're rough over there.
A little ruthless. It's true.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that if they want to run the website that way. At xjtalk.com, we didn't. We wanted it to be respectful and not responses to questions, basic questions like Google is your friend, or have you tried searching about that? Or, you guys have seen all this crap by people, these brave people 1,000 miles away behind their screen talking shit to people. It's just not cool, and we don't do it.
No. No, it's like I said, it's probably the friendliest Jeep site you're ever going to find on the web. And speaking of this, Tony, and of course in the presence of in the spirit of 100 episodes, I figured because this is a milestone episode, I figure we can sort of release the reins here a little bit. And I didn't put this in the show notes, and you and I didn't really talk about it ahead of time. But I'd like to take a minute and kind of go down memory lane if I could. 100 episodes is certainly, I mean, this is 100 weeks essentially. And of course, you had a large hiatus in there before I joined the show. I kind of wanted to ask you a couple questions about the podcast and, of course, the website. I know you've been a Jeep owner for many, many years, but I kind of want to take you back, take us all back, take the listeners back to sort of day one. Or I guess maybe even a little bit before that. And what was the bug in your ear? What was the idea floating around in your head as you were, your head was hitting the pillow at night, thinking of, do I start a website? Do I start a podcast? Sort of which came first, the chicken or the egg, and what got that going in the beginning to begin with?
Well, I was over on Naxtra for a while, and I got rubbed the wrong way. Not necessarily so much people saying things to me, because people were pretty friendly over there. I think you sometimes, if this is a real term, bait yourself into things, bait yourself into a flame war, depending on how you respond or how you present yourself. And
that can happen.
And I really never had that issue over on Naxtra. I saw a lot of it going on, and it kind of turned me off. I didn't like that. I didn't think it was right. The same thing I just said. Brave people sitting behind terminals 1,000 miles away from you, or in this case, other members, and running their mouth. I mean, if you're going to say something to somebody, have the courage to stand to them face to face and say that same thing. And I think 9 times out of 10, if the person's not drinking, they're not going to say that. They're going to be a little more reasonable and measured in how they say things, because at any moment you might get bitch slapped. So, yes. and I'm not saying that that's what I would do. I'm just saying, I have more respect for somebody because it's a possibility. Whenever you're 1,000 miles away, it isn't. Nobody's going to drive 1,000 miles to your house except for, I guess, some people in movies where it happens.
Yeah, just to give you a good backhand.
So anyway, I moved over to a new website that had started, which was Cherokee Talk. And it was a small forum, friendlier. I kind of liked the way it was run. And
so let me interrupt you for just a second. Is it just because it was a Cherokee specific site? I mean, what drove you to that site over like Cherokee Forum or Jeep Forum, or were you looking specifically for just a Cherokee forum out there and just sort of did a Google search and that was the first one that popped up, or how did you end up going over that direction?
I believe I was invited to go over there from another member on Naxtra. They were trolling for new members basically,
all right.
Which is kind of uncool, but that's the way it is. And I liked it because it was not so huge. Naxtra is just huge. They've got hundreds of people on the site all the time, and it doesn't really have any leadership. I mean, I know there's leaders of different chapters and stuff, but there's no 1 or 2 or 3 people that would be the leadership and that you could, maybe talk to and get them to change how things operate over there. So
they're supposed to be, but yeah.
Well,
I know what you're saying.
If there is, it wasn't clear to me.
Yeah.
And I was on there for 2 years, actually 3 years. The first year I didn't pay, and the year 2 and 3 I was a paid member. Actually, the third year I was pretty much on Cherokee Talk, then XJ Talk. But anyway, to answer your question, I went over to Cherokee Talk because it was a startup. It was friendly. That you could get to know people. It was more, and you knew the person that was in charge, and he was active on the site every day.
Okay.
And I started giving out some, sending him. I was very friendly to people coming in. You know how even on XJ Talk, we have people that are not moderators that are there welcoming people.
Yeah, I meant what you knew.
Yeah, and but they're not moderators. Well, I was asked to be a moderator after a while, since I was so active on the site and friendly and helpful as I could be. And I was a moderator, and then I was making some suggestions and, hey, could we do this? Hey, can we do this? And I was very politely told no. on most every circumstance. And I thought to myself, well, this is silly. I have the ability to register a domain, set up a server. I already had some servers, and load some software and configure it and set it up and et cetera, et cetera. I'll just start my own damn site, and the suggestions that I have for this site, I'll just use for my own.
So you obviously had some equipment laying around. You had an idea. From that point to, domain registration to, okay, the website is now live. How long did that take?
Well, it's kind of funny. I had never loaded up. I had never seen the vBulletin software before, which is the prominent bulletin board software on the internet. And it kind of ticked me off because I was going to have to pay for it. But if you're going to play, you got to pay.
Right.
I mean, there's free alternatives out there, but I wanted it to be comparable with Naxja and Cherokee Talk and,
sure.
the big sites. So I thought it was only right to resign as a moderator on Cherokee Talk because I was going to have a competing website. It was not my intent to troll for people off of Cherokee Talk or any of that stuff. I just wanted to be on the up and up. The guy that owned that site at the time said, no problem. I'll accept your resignation, but it's not really necessary. And I said, well, I just think it's the right thing to do. And so there was no animosity, and he left me as a veteran over there and with in good standing, so on and so forth. So I figured it would take me about a week to get everything set up and going. I resigned that day, and by that before 5 o'clock that afternoon, I had everything set up and running.
Oh, wow.
Well, as far as the server goes, I already had a server, already had a site, had a personal site set up on it, had been running it for years. So this was just a matter of creating a subdirectory and registering a domain and, getting the software, loading it, and bringing it up. It's actually quite simple. Now, I am an IT professional. I've been messing with computers since professionally since '81. So, yeah. So I've got a lot of years of experience in computers. So, it's pretty easy to do. After you've gone through it enough times.
Very good. I sort of wanted to take this trip just to sort of, I don't know how many people out there really know this story, and or how many people are familiar with it. And of course, where we're at today, 100 episodes. Just recently, we replayed for episode number 1 of the XJ Talk Show, and it was an amazing difference, sort of how the show has progressed over the years, and I know you and I sort of just sort of bantered back and forth just briefly about it when we came back from our hiatus, our little summer break, and we're talking about the differences and sort of your mindset for episode number 1 and of course how you went about it and all that and grief you got from your family there afterwards. But
actually, it was no grief. It was grief that I was concerned about getting. So I didn't.
That's what it was.
I didn't want to be too loud and open myself up to that ridicule.
So okay, now you started up the website xjtalk.com, got that up and running, and that was sort of your own personal project because of the kinds of changes that you wanted to see that weren't happening, and to sort of get away from the things that were happening on these other sites. And so that's went and was going strong, and so how long after that was it that you got the idea of starting a podcast for the show?
Well, I started listening to podcasts, and I was listening to I forget exactly how I got caught up listening to that. I'm a talk show fan anyway, like an AM radio talk show fan. Used to listen to them late at night. Of course, the Art Bell, Coast to Coast. I would listen to that. That was a lot of fun. So it's something that you can have on in the background and still be doing things, working or whatever. So it's also too fun to listen on long drives. So I got to thinking about it, and way back when I was like 13, 14 years old, I had a tape recorder, and I think this is a common story for a lot of people. I had a tape recorder and thought it would be fun to be a disc jockey, got some microphones from Radio Shack, even made some microphones out of small speakers because they were cheap and would fit in a tin can. Boom mic, one of those big boom mics like they use in movies and stuff, just made out of wood and one of those speakers and stuff. Anyway, built my own little switch panel with these big noisy electrical switches, which work, the low voltage audio. It was fine, but you could hear them actually popping on the wood panel that I had it on. Pop, and select the radio or whatever. So basically the same setup I have going here, but it was all handmade. So here we fast forward, and I'm thinking, what can I do to differentiate xjtalk.com from the other websites? And podcasting.
How long had the site been up before you went down this road?
Well, March is the yearly anniversary for xjtalk.com. It's like March 3rd or something like that. I have to look on the registration. So I would guess that it was probably at least 2 years into the because we've been up. XJTalk has been up for 4 years, or over 4 years now, because March was the 4th year. So we're working on year 5. So at least 2 years went by, I believe, before we started doing the podcast. And when I say we, I mean me, because it was just me doing the podcast.
Right. And it was the reason why you started, all in all, was because you wanted to differentiate the website, this one particularly, and sort of add something extra to it that would set it apart from everybody else, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got great people. There's we got great moderators, very knowledgeable people on that site, and how better to direct other people to that site than to be a little different, perhaps, hopefully have a good, interesting show that would talk about xjtalk.com and entice them to come over and try it. I mean, we still get emails or posts today about, I had no idea the site was here. This is a great site. There's a lot of tech on here, and I was really happy to hear about the tech, because for the longest time, we were just a friendly site. It wasn't that much tech.
No, and there really is. I mean, the articles that are up there, some of the sticky information, and we've got different threads that are very tech specific and oriented towards very certain avenues of builds and different modifications and stuff like that. And I mean, the progressions that the show has made alone are really amazing. But really, the sort of the development that the site has come around the last couple years, especially, has been amazing. The influx of new members, of course, the influx of knowledge base as well. The amount of tech knowledge and experience and expertise that is on the site now is just amazing. And I see almost on a weekly basis people saying, this is just awesome. I would have been completely screwed if it wasn't for you guys. This has been so helpful, yada yada. And I mean, that makes me feel all warm, fuzzy inside, especially if I've been able to contribute as well.
Well, that was the thing that got me about Naxtra. I didn't know anything about my Cherokee, really, because I hadn't taken the time to take it up all apart and put it all back together. Yeah. The reason I found Naxtra was I was doing searches because I was going to put a lift kit and larger tires on my vehicle because of what I had experienced with the Hurricane Rita and all the traffic issues during that time. So went online, did some research, and I probably just did a search for Jeep Cherokee, and there wasn't a lot of sites that came up. Naxtra certainly was one, and I went over there and started digging, and there was a wealth of information. The first year being on Naxtra, I easily saved a few $100 simply from what people had told me about what to look at and what to do. And I certainly found out the information about a 4.5-inch lift was as big as I could go before having to do a slip yoke eliminator kit. I was a little disappointed because I was hoping to go a little higher than that because the Cherokee's so low to start with. Keep in mind, my first four-wheel drive back when I was like 25, 26 was a full-size 1983 Chevrolet short wheelbase. And I put a 4-inch lift on it, and I was able to get 36.5-inch tires. So looking at the Cherokee 4.5-inch lift, well, that's a half-inch higher than what I'd gone before, but I wasn't going to be able to put anything but 33-inch tires on there. Oh, this sucks. I need more lift. Now, of course, I was a complete noob when it came to Cherokees at that point, even though I'd had this one since 98, and it was like 2005 or something when I started looking into this. So it was quite a learning experience, and I've learned a lot from Naxja, from Cherokee Talk, and of course from XJ Talk.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I speak with for just about everybody, every Cherokee owner out there. It's a constant learning process. I mean, I've been tinkering with my Jeep for years and years and years. I've been working on Jeeps for freaking decades, and I still learn things, a different way of doing something, a new trick. Somebody will post something up, and although I don't have that particular problem or issue going on, I'll see a response by somebody else, and it's be like, I never thought about that. I never thought of doing something like that way, or handling that issue that way. And so, I mean, it's great to have these sort of avenues like xjtalk.com to sort of, get the information that we need. But I digress a little bit. There's another personal question I wanted to ask you. And you mentioned Hurricane Rita. And for those who don't know, Hurricane Rita was probably the fourth most intense Atlantic hurricane ever recorded. And certainly the most intense tropical cyclone ever observed in the Gulf of Mexico. It was 2005, late in 2005, if I remember correctly, when this hit. And I imagine it affected a lot of people. Now, you mentioned, Tony, seeing all the traffic issues. And I can only imagine that a storm of this size would have caused, just a complete foobar across most of the state that you live in. So what sort of things did you observe personally, and how did this affect you personally? Obviously, it brought you to the point of getting an off-road vehicle. Were you seeing people, heading down the median of the freeway in off-road vehicles because they could? I mean, what experiences did you have that led you to getting an off-road vehicle?
Well, first off, I'm a lifelong resident of the Texas Gulf Coast. I have lived within 50 miles of where I was born my entire life. So whenever tropical storms or hurricanes come to this area, I know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
When Hurricane Rita threatened, and I say threatened because it didn't hit us, when Hurricane Rita, a Category 5 hurricane, threatened this Gulf Coast, our area, it panicked people severely. I'll digress a little bit because it kind of pissed me off that it wasn't until after Hurricane Rita went into around the Beaumont, Louisiana area, that the weathercaster said, oh yeah, whenever a hurricane hits Category 5 status, it pretty much tears itself apart within 48 hours. So in other words, it goes from a Cat 5 to like a Cat 3. It may strengthen again, but we were looking at a 2-day landfall. And in other words, it probably won't be a Cat 5 when it gets here. And they kind of neglected to mention that during the evacuation. So anyway, I took off 2 days prior. I took vacation days 2 days prior to the anticipated landing time of the hurricane in our area. Doesn't mean it's going to hit here. I just wanted to be home with the family and take care of the house and just be there and not have to worry about things. It took me 2 hours to get home on 2 days prior because people were so panicked. And I firmly believe the reason why they were panicked was Katrina. Because Katrina had happened about 2 weeks earlier, and they saw all these people devastated. Now, I was smart enough to understand that New Orleans is below sea level.
Yeah.
So when a hurricane hits there, bad things are going to happen. Whether or not the George Bush is blowing up levees or not, bad things are going to happen when you're below sea level at a hurricane. So I think that a lot of this was just panic. And the things that I saw, and mind you, I didn't have a full tank of gas. We weren't going anywhere. I had a Jeep. I had this Jeep Cherokee that I bought in 1998, so it was perfectly capable of carrying everybody in the family up to the I-10, which is only about 3 miles from where I am, and getting on I-10 and sitting in traffic for the next 22 hours and maybe going 5 miles. I didn't go because I didn't have a full tank of gas. I was not able to get gas because the stations were either out or they had lines. And so we just sat it out here at the house and hoped for the best. And I thought to myself, this is ridiculous. Now, keep in mind, it's a Jeep. I've wanted to put a lift and tires on it anyway. But after this, it was like, I'm not going to be the responsible family man dad and just not do those fun things that I'd like to do and just keep the Jeep stock. I have a real reason to be concerned if this happens again. And of course, the global warming thing and all this stuff about how the hurricanes were going to be like this from then on. And it's just going to be really, so I needed something to get my family out of harm's way. And I said, hell with this. I'm going to fix me a vehicle where I don't need roads.
Very good. Well, it's wise thinking too, especially especially when you're in harm's way.
Yeah, I could just well imagine the multitude, the hundreds of thousands of people that are out there stranded on I-10 and the back streets and everything, just trying to head out of here west and north, and being stuck in even a Category 3 hurricane would be horrific, because you never know when a tornado is going to touch down, spin out, and touch down, and those things, and being unprotected in a vehicle is not my idea of a good thing.
No, definitely not. Well, Tony, thanks for letting me sort of probe you a little bit there and take you and us down memory lane a little bit and get to know you and of course sort of how this all started a little bit better.
Cool. No problem. I am happy to answer any question. So, are you ready for Halloween yet, Josh?
Man, I spent all day in the garage, sort of building some haunts and stuff like that. I made a last-minute dash out to Goodwill last night, a secondhand store, and picked up some outfits for a couple of the. I'm building a. There's going to be a sort of a twisted carnival theme to one of the areas of my little maze that I'm building in the driveway that's going to lead people up to the door. And I had to get some outfits for the clowns that are going to be part of this. And so I mad dash out to Goodwill late last night. And oh my God, was it a madhouse? People thrashing through shelves. Through aisles and the clothes racks and stuff like that, just digging and trying to. I'm sure because it was the weekend before Halloween, everybody had a party to go to last minute, and of course they waited to the last minute to get anything. So it was kind of crazy, and I'm just sort of meandering through and kind of picking through stuff here and there. I knew exactly what I was looking for, and I managed to find it too. So I got all set up and got some things for what's typically called a monster in a box, and it's a motion activated triggered device. It's a haunt, a spook, if you will. That it's a crate for all intents and purposes that has flashing lights and monster noises and it's got a mechanism in it that bounces the lid up and down very violently, like a monster is trying to escape from this box. And it, of course, scares people because it's loud. It's all of a sudden, and they weren't expecting it. So I spent 3 hours last night breaking down about a 4.5 foot stack of pallets that I procured, and spent most of the day today cutting and sawing. And I had to go to a birthday party for a little bit of time, so I didn't get as much accomplished today as I wanted to. But the box, the crate is essentially done. The mechanism is, for the most part, sourced. I haven't actually put everything together yet. I still have to get some hinges, and I still have to get the actual motion detector sensor thing to tie it all together. But outside of that, everything else is really coming together. So am I ready? No. Am I getting ready? Yes.
You're sounds like you're well on your way. Well, that sounds like a lot of activity. That's a lot more activity than I'm putting into it. It's not unusual from way back when, and when I was like 16, 17 years old, I would go to a lot of trouble to set things up. But I guess I had a lot more free time on my hands then.
Yeah, I certainly don't have a lot of free time. So doing some grocery shopping tonight, it was okay. How the next few meals, few dinners that we're gonna have. It's going to be very simple, very basic, extremely fast prepping, cooking meals, so that I can get back out into the garage and finish putting things together. So, it's going to be interesting. The next few nights, probably going to have a few late nights as well. Still got work to contend with, but I'm sure it's all going to come together probably very last minute. But nonetheless, it'll be a lot of fun.
I found myself sitting in the kitchen watching a show on PBS today. One of the second channel, second digital channel on PBS, And they quite often have little shows where they show you how to cook things or build things or whatever. And since I don't have the Uverse on the kitchen television, especially on Saturdays and Sundays, everything's sports, or it's a movie that was on 50 billion years ago, and it was a C movie at best. So I'll switch over to one of those shows, and if they're cooking, it's fun to watch. People do things with food. Anyway, I was watching this show today, and it was Halloween based, and they were going to take candy corn and make something with it. So they took like a white chocolate and something else mixture and heated it up and made it, and then poured it out and made a nice little square out of it, and then put candy corn in it. It was like, well, I don't know if you ever heard that thing about sugar shockers, where there was a cereal where it's what is it? Pure cane honey, pure honey wrapped in cane sugar, and then drenched with powdered sugar, and the kid goes, "It makes me feel like I'm vibrating." Anyway, that's what it reminded me when they were taking this white chocolate and they made it like peanut brittle, but instead of peanuts, it had candy corn. And I'm going, oh my God, I'd have to have a gallon of water to drink just after having some of that stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, my teeth are hurting just thinking about it.
I couldn't eat. I never could have a soft drink like a Coke and a candy bar. That was just way too much sweet for me. It just made me feel funky. Anyway, so not doing anything here, just waiting for Halloween to come and go. It'll be that much closer to going to SEMA.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, because you've got SEMA just around the corner. So I imagine your tickets are purchased. You got all your itinerary sort of laid out. Have you been looking at sort of the floor layout, any of the maps, kind of trying to figure out sort of how you're going to peruse through the whole show?
Not at all. I have first time going and don't know what to expect. Got the plane tickets, got the hotel reservations. Matt sent me the image of the badge that I'll need to be in there because it's not open to the public, and so just gotta. Now he's going up on Sunday, and I'm going up on Tuesday because of the amount of vacation I have left this year. So I'll be there Tuesday through Saturday. Now, I don't think the show actually starts officially until Tuesday anyway, but I think the vendors can set up like on Sunday. There's a couple of days there that they do something that is, I don't know, something that I would be interested in.
I'm looking at the itinerary right now for as far as the upcoming events go, and I mean, there's a rep roundtable meeting, WTC general membership meeting. I'm not sure what that is. A Gear Up Girl event. That sounds kind of cool. That's actually on the 4th. There's a bunch of symposiums and stuff as well, and other programs and everything that's going on. Pretty much as the show is going on, all these other little things that you can go and do and see. That's sort of all part of SEMA, although it's not the grand, floor exhibit that everybody sort of, is synonymous with SEMA. There's going to be some big things happening this year at SEMA. A lot of stuff that's Jeep related, of course. It's a huge automotive based show. For those who don't know, what SEMA is. It's SEMA. SEMA stands for Specialty Equipment Market Association, and basically, if it's automotive related. And tech and electronic and goodie and gadget, and it's brand spanking new and it's awesome, it's going to be at this show. And it's kind of invite only. You kind of have to be in the industry in order to even attend the SEMA show. So that's how Tony is going. A friend of a member of the website sort of invited him along, and so he's definitely lucky in that regard. Ford, from what I understand, forget the catch-up. Ford is bringing 57 show vehicles, to the show. And that's just a drop in the bucket, I guess, from what a bunch of other manufacturers. Of course, there's going to be concept vehicles there to drool over. Mopar is bringing a customized 2014 Cherokee. Not Grand Cherokee, yes, regular Cherokee, of course. There's going to be the AEV Brute Double Cab, a.k.a. the Jeep pickup. We've all heard about, and I've even reported on it on This Week in Jeep, that Chrysler is talking about actually making a full-on pickup. and they've done it apparently. And this is sort of, and it's not really concept. This is, from what I understand, basically the model of what they're going to be building the production vehicle off of. And it looks very similar to a JK from the front bumper to the second door, rear door. After that, it's definitely all pickup. They didn't just chop off the back and sort of, cab it in. They put on a full-on pickup bed on the back of this thing. Now, it's not a full-size pickup. It's still on a Jeep frame, and it's got a short box on the back of it. But, and again, it's made by AEV, American Expedition Vehicles. So it's tricked out a little bit. It's definitely rugged. It's definitely rough. And it's definitely pretty cool. And I'm sure going to catch your attention, Tony. Also, Omix ADA debuts their part, in fact, of their historic Jeep collection. Now, Omix ADA, of course, is original equipment manufacturer for a lot of stuff, or at least replacement parts for Jeep, including our Cherokees. And they're bringing 20 vehicles ranging from 1941 to 2013 to SEMA. So that's going to be pretty cool to see. They're bringing in some Willys and, of course, a bunch of other stuff that's going to be awesome. And they are in pristine, I'm talking car collection condition. So that's going to be definitely photo worthy. And of course, there's going to be some concept vehicles from Jeep as well. And they've announced there's going to be at least 3 concept vehicles that are going to be there, Tony. So I'm sure your camera's going to be awfully busy, and your shutter finger's probably going to get real tired. I hope you got plenty of memory cards you're bringing.
Well, I've got a 16 gig card, so
not enough.
Well, I'm also taking the laptop, so I'll be uploading the pictures to the laptop nightly. I think I'll get it handled. And as long as nobody comes up and tells me otherwise, I am planning on taking pictures and then probably posting certain select images in the evening from my laptop onto xjtalk.com, so people will be able to follow along and see what's going on. And I hope to get some of the celebrities. And of course, I'm thinking primarily of the Power Block folks. I know Courtney Hansen's going to be there, and I have since seen on Twitter that she is going to be roaming the booths, if you will. She's scheduled to be at the MagnaFlow one, but she will be roaming around through there during the week. So hopefully I'll get an opportunity to speak with her.
Yeah, no, that would be really cool. I'd love to hear an interview with Ian from the Extreme 4x4 as well. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be pretty sick. I mean, just really anybody from Power Block TV, I think would be awesome to get in front of the mic. Are you planning on doing any tweeting while you're there at the show?
Absolutely. Yep. Be cool. Tweeting as XJ Talk and be posting on the XJ Talk Facebook page.
Way cool. So that way you guys can sort of follow along and live vicariously through Tony's experiences at SEMA. And of course, be green with envy as he gets to play around in this massive show that I'm sure we'd all love to be at.
Yeah, it's very nice, and very nice of Matt, our other admin on xjtalk.com, to extend the invitation to me. And it was funny, we were just having a conversation. I said, I think I'm going to go to SEMA this year. He goes, well, I'm going. If you want to go, that's great. And I'm like, oh, sure. Well, that'd be great to have a friend to go with. And he explained to me that it's invite only. I went, you're kidding me. It's not open to the public? Because this thing's huge. It's just, and I didn't know. I had no idea. So the only reason I'm able to go is because Matt was a good guy and said, come go with me.
Well, I'm sure he's going to have his hands busy as well, doing his own thing. I'm not sure how much you guys are going to get a chance to walk around together, but nonetheless, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to talk about it on the show after you get back and sort of hear firsthand all the experiences. Of course, we'll be looking at all the pictures and the tweets and everything sort of as it happens, but man, hearing it straight from the horse's mouth is going to be a great show next episode.
Well, from what Matt has told me, it is going to be it's kind of an evening thing, that nothing really much happens during the day. So fortunately, I found this out before I made the reservation, so my wife is going to be going with me. Otherwise, I would have just been really bored during the day. So we'll probably be going out and doing some things, and Matt and his wife are going together. So it'll be look for the Facebook and tweets in the evening, probably after dinner time.
Yeah, I know that sounds great.
And I think it's not, I don't think it's next episode. It'll be the episode 102 that will be the one after SEMA.
Okay.
Because we have a,
oh yeah.
Because the third is going to be right before I go out to SEMA.
Oh, that's right.
So
yeah. So you're leaving on the 4th. You're going to be there that Monday.
Be there on a Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Leave Tuesday and be there Tuesday afternoon, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You said that.
So through Saturday.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, I misspoke. Okay, well, not the next episode. I'm already there, man.
No problem. Didn't want to correct you. I just want to make sure that the people knew what to expect. Our listeners and viewers.
Yeah, I got SEMA on the brain. I can't help it.
It sounds too much like Zima.
Oh no!
I'm not a drinker, but I do know that Zima was not a great beverage. You were not a well-known person if you were walking around with a Zima, or well thought of person if you were walking around with a Zima.
Hey, this is Tim from Jeep Tubes, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
You already know about XJ Talk on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. But did you know we're on YouTube as well? We have off and on-road adventures, how-tos for fixing or augmenting your Jeep. Besides, man cannot live by sound alone, right? Come see what we got at youtube.com/user/xjtalk. Don't forget to subscribe and make comments on our videos.
xjtalk.com.
First Week in Jeep.
Well, I just can't get enough of the 2014 Cherokee. No, I'm completely kidding. But it's going to be in the news this week, as well as it has been almost every week since it was announced that the damn thing's going to get made. Well, as of October 23rd, the Jeep Cherokees are actually being delivered. Yay. So Chrysler has announced to produce Jeep Cherokees in Toledo, while even scrambled to, they were producing the Cherokees in Toledo. They're continuing to do so, even while they scrambled to fix the transmission issues. So even though the Cherokees were not being delivered to the dealerships, they were still rolling off the assembly line. They were basically making these things broken so they could fix them later and then get them out to the dealerships. I'm sure that's going to be a great winning strategy right there. Well, as of September 30th, the Toledo plant has produced, almost 20,000 Jeep Cherokees, at least according to the company's production report. And Cherokees were parked around the Toledo plant in all the various little holding areas. Now, Chrysler spokeswoman Jody Tinson said just earlier today, in fact, that the company has begun shipping Cherokees to dealers. It's official, but declined to say if all the finished Cherokees have actually been cleared for delivery. Well, I would imagine not, because they were building these things broken and, of course, had to go back and fix these transmission issues, which, from what I understand, was primarily software related. But nonetheless, I'm sure that they had to do some other tweaking. Now, Chrysler hopes the distinctive styling and cutting-edge technology on the Cherokee will set it apart from the competition, and has invested considerable time and, of course, money to make sure the important model's ready once it hits the market. Well, they probably should have done that a long time ago, because it was supposed to hit the market months ago. Now, Tim Fleming, an analyst at Kelley Blue Book, says, so while the Cherokee delay certainly resulted in continued lost sales, the vehicle can now be delivered to dealerships. And of course, dealerships are breathing a big sigh of relief now these things are finally coming in. And Jeep sales numbers should jump back into positive territory. After all, that's what this is all about, right? The bottom line. How much money and sales revenue these things are actually going to generate. Certainly not doing an iconic badge name like the Cherokee any justice. Now, the first comparisons are out, putting the 2014 Cherokee in the same class as, get this, the Mazda 3 and the Nissan Rogue. Now, where it should be is with the Chevrolet Equinox and the Ford Escape, the Honda CR-V, the Honda Santa Fe Sport, and of course the Toyota RAV4, if we're talking about a true apples-to-apples comparison here. Now, why a comparison at all, you ask? Well, it's for the distinctive title of the North American Car and Truck and Sports Utility of the Year Award. Now, the winners will be announced the 2014 North American International Auto Show at the Cobo Center in Detroit the second week of January. Now, I have no idea if any of these vehicles are going to be among the 6 finalists for a car and truck or sport utility of the year, much less what the winners will be. Now, the jurors have about 10 weeks of further comparison tests in 2 rounds, and the Cherokee, from what I understand, is slated for a rigorous off-road testing by these judges. So we're going to see how they end up putting it through its paces, and, of course, how it ends up in the standings.
This is Dan from the 4x4 podcast, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
xjtalk.com. It's where you go when you're not off-road.
The XJ Talk Show is now available on iTunes. Subscribe and leave a review. Also, be sure to give us a 5-star rating.
Hi, this is Eric from BSF Recovery Team, driver of the Extreme Off-Road Wrecker, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Amazon.com and the XJ Talk Show present You Bought What?
You know, it wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't the one that set up this board. I was sitting there struggling to try to find the intro for You Bought and What. I was like, oh, play another drop. Oh, there it is.
Big red flashing button.
So tell us what this is all about, Josh. You always have it actually perfect in your brain.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be happy to. Well, folks, for those of you who are veteran listeners, you guys kind of already know what's going on. For those of you who aren't veteran listeners and are new to the show, here's what we got. We got a great relationship set up with Amazon.com. And how this works is if you go over to XJ Talk Show or xjtalk.com, you click on the banner, the Amazon banner there on the main page. It'll take you right over to Amazon.com where you can continue to do any of your online shopping as you normally would. You're going to pay the same exact low price, not a penny more, not a dime more, as you normally would. But what happens is Amazon gives us a little kickback off of anything that you purchase. It can be a box of Q-tips. It can be a whole undercarriage for a Jeep, for all that matters. But Amazon's going to give us a little something to help you guys support your favorite podcast and your favorite website. Now, they also have agreed to give us a list of what's been purchased. Now, we don't get to see who's buying what. All we get to see is what's been bought. Now, we turn this into a little bit of a fun game of sorts. We've asked you guys in the past to really throw us some curveballs, and boy, you guys have really stepped up to the plate. Of course, the list just keeps growing and growing and growing, and oftentimes we can't even keep up. And so we pick out a few of the prime, some of the more some of the more cooler, and of course some of the more strange items that pop up on this list, and we have some fun with it in this segment. Now, we've sort of added a twist to that here recently, and what that is of course falling into my vocabulary and my awesome grasp of the English language, and of course I slip up and say the word "botten," which everybody knows is not really a word. So Tony said, "Well, here's what we're going to do to help you curb your your use of the word. We're going to create a little bit of a game with this. And anytime Josh says the word botten when referring to a product when we're doing this list, a person who's calling into our live call-in line will, of course, the person that has the phrase to pays and is the first person that calls gets to win an Amazon gift card valued for whatever that item is. Now, of course, for our 100th episode, we're doing things a little bit differently. We got to do something very extra special. This is, after all, a milestone episode. So we've decided that we're going to be giving away a grand prize. Normally, it's just a gift card to whatever the value is of that item that I slip up on. This time, we're going to throw something extra into the mix. And it's going to be, I'm going to let Tony go ahead and describe it.
This is a Rugged Ridge 15104.25, which I know everybody. Oh, that's that one. Yeah. Anyway, that's that's the part number. Winch recovery kit. So this is a bag, a tree saver, a tow strap, what do you call those things that keeps the winch dampener? There it is. All I have to do is read. Yeah. A pair of gloves, a snatch block, and a couple of D-rings. And it is a $137 value. So Josh was good enough to find something that was really close to $100 for our 100th episode. So on top of the value of the, I still don't understand how we know that every time we do this that you're going to actually screw up on one of these things, and we're going to have to give it away. But anyway, it's miracles happen every day. So on top of the gift card that we're going to be giving away, that we normally give away on the Amazon You Bought and What contest, we're going to be giving away this Rugged Ridge kit. Now, the gift cards certainly are available any place that you could receive email. The Rugged Ridge kit is going to be available to only folks in the continental U.S. In other words, where we can ship it and not have to pay an additional fee.
Right. So if you're living in New Zealand or Australia, I'm sorry, you're not going to be eligible for this prize. As much as we enjoy your patronage and fandom of the site, you're going to have to hold off until another time. So, folks, we've talked about a live call-in number, and I'm going to give you guys that number right now. Go ahead and write it down. Don't call in yet. You got to wait for the keyword. And, of course, we all know that word is boughten. And as soon as you hear me say that, start dialing these numbers. And if you're the first person to call in and you've got the phrase that pays, which is...
I thought you were going to say one.
I don't know if you already had one lined up. I was just going to say, I was thinking it's where you go when you're not off road.
That's fine. I was thinking black Jeeps are sexy.
Oh, yeah. I should have pulled something like that out. No, guys, no confusion here. You got to have the phrase that pays. You got to be the first caller. The phrase that pays is, it's where you go when you're not off road. And that live call-in number, don't call yet. Just write the number down. It's 267-507-0240. And that's going to get you into the main conference line. But you got to dial a very specific number after that to actually hook up to the XJ Talk Show. And the code is 219835. So again, the call-in number is area code 267-507-0240. And the conference code is 219835.
And through some technical wizardry, in other words, I read something, I have been able to put that number at the bottom of the screen. So it will be flashing back and forth between the main number and the conference call number during this segment. So if you didn't write that down, you should be able to see it on your screen. If you're listening to this on the podcast, it doesn't matter because this is all live. You're not going to get the prize. You can just live vicariously through the people that are. So anyway,
of course, you guys can call our voicemail line. We'll give that number towards the end of the show, and you guys can call in and say, how much you love the show. But nonetheless, we've got a massive list here in front of us. We're not going to be able to go through all of it. Tony and I have sort of picked some of our favorites out of this list of stuff that you guys have purchased through Amazon. See, I almost did it. And we're gonna sort of go through this list. And we picked out a few that really stand out, and we're going to sort of pay homage to these right now.
Okay. So you got one, go.
Yeah, let's see. One that stood out to me, I thought was pretty cool, was this Nebo 5569 ProTech Elite HP 190 high-powered firearm light. Yeah. I'm assuming now, because I didn't get a chance to look this one up, but I'm assuming this is a sort of a really one of those high-powered LED lights that sort of tuck up underneath the barrel of either a pistol or a shotgun or something like that. Nonetheless, I always love to see some of these gun goodies pop up on the list every now and again.
I'm just a flashlight and watch nut, and there's really not much use for watches these days except for arm jewelry. And flashlights are still handy though, especially when you have a power outage.
Yeah, definitely.
So if I remember correctly, this may or not be from our moderator on XJ Talk, but he did mention about getting a Pittman arm. So on the outside chance this was Jim's, somebody purchased a Omnix ADA Pittman arm. So I just wanted to kind of recognize that in case that was the one Jim bought.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely. I always love to see the Jeep stuff on this list when it does pop up. I remember just a couple weeks ago, we had somebody purchased a whole bunch of, I don't know if it was one person, but there was a bunch of Rubicon Express stuff that popped up. And that doesn't happen very often. But, when it does, that stuff we definitely in our wheelhouse, we definitely got to talk about a little bit. Well, this is one that's probably apropos for the time of year it is. This is an HMS Camel costume mask. Brown, one size fits all. Now, I'm just assuming of sort what HMS Camel is. I mean, HMS, that's Her Majesty's ship. I mean, those are usually the reference designators for some of the European Navy.
Right.
So I'm not sure exactly what the camel, how that works into there, but nonetheless, I think it's kind of neat. It's definitely something that's holiday specific, and certainly the holiday that we have right around the corner.
One size, that must be one size fits all. So maybe it's a moo combination, moo and Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's a mask. So I guess it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look that one up after the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm going to have to look this one up too.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Anyway, I saw this one. I thought this was really cool because this is a gaming type thing. A Razer, help me with that. Is that TAMAT? Over-the-ear 7.1 surround sound PC gaming headset. Now, I did look this one up because I was thinking, wow, $159. That's a lot to spend for a gaming headset. And but I mean, if you're into gaming, especially if you're doing the online first-person shooters, it's very convenient in a team situation to be able to talk to the other people around you. So I checked to make sure that this had a built-in boom mic, and it does. Boy, this thing, I actually had to look this thing up prior to the show, and it's really nice. And I think Razer, it's probably the same folks that make the gaming, the high density, the high DPI gaming mice, and keyboard add-ons, so that you can.
I thought it was the same people that make a scooter.
Razer?
The Razer scooter.
I don't know.
They were popular a number of years ago. I don't know if they're still around or not.
Those, but I never.
Boy, those are some really cool looking headphones. That headset is pretty trick.
Yeah, you see the cushions on that thing? Wow, I bet you that really carries the bass good to you.
Well, I'm really curious to how that microphone is. I have to get a set of these old headphones I've had for about 15 years, and man, they've definitely seen their better days. These headphones are pretty cool looking. I'm gonna have to actually fork out the bucks for something like these.
And I don't know how they got it for $159. Do you see that it's listed for $179?
I'm seeing also $199 on other sites. So they actually got a pretty decent deal from what I'm seeing. But nonetheless, I don't know how they get the 7.1.
That's what I was just wondering too.
Full on surround sound out of a set of headphones. I mean, that's just kind of crazy.
You know, the thing I've always hated on first person shooters, especially when you're online and there's going to be somebody laughing at you because they killed you. is hearing the sounds above and below. Left and right are fine, but how do you differentiate what's above and below? And I wonder if they took care of that in the 7.1. That would really be nice to know. You can shoot through the ceiling at somebody instead of, just trying to figure out where people could be.
Right. Nonetheless, I mean, talk about immersing yourself in the game. That's got to be something else.
Oh, it's a blast.
Well, I've got one here that it's kind of in my wheelhouse specifically. I'm a big electrical nut, and of course I worked in the automotive electrical industry for nearly a decade, and this isn't exactly something that I have, but it's definitely something that I would use or that I would have. Now, this is an S&G Tool-Aid 18900 professional ratcheting terminal crimper, and this comes in handy as the ratcheting one is because it forces you to sort of crimp down and really get a good mechanical crimp, and it won't let go until you go fully through the ratcheting portion of it, and then it gets to that point where it will release the handle and let you know that you've essentially created a very good mechanical crimp. So that is definitely a professional grade crimping tool, and whoever's picked that thing up, definitely going to put it to good use.
Hey, I thought this was pretty cool. Somebody purchased a Germany Berlin flag, 3-foot by 5-foot polyester.
Yeah, I saw that one pop up on the list here not all that long ago, and I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I've got some German heritage myself, and I mean that's a really big flag. Nonetheless, I mean 3 feet by 5 feet. I mean that's pretty much full size as far as flags go. So I mean that's pretty cool. I wonder where they're going to fly that. Well, here, this is one that I'm not too familiar with. I've heard of this game, and oftentimes we get games that pop up on this list. We've got movies and stuff that pop up on the list, but this is one that I haven't exactly heard of before. But this is the StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm expansion pack. This isn't something that I would have bought in the past.
Awesome. Be the first to call in 267-507-0240, conference code 219835, and you'll win this week's Amazon You Boughten What? Damn it, Josh. What the hell?
You guys got to call in. That live call-in number, 267-507-0240. Got to have that conference code, 219835. Call in now. The first caller, remember that phrase that pays, guys. It's where you go when you're not off-road. So I don't know if we've got anybody on the board yet, but I'm sure we're going to here in just a minute, especially with a grand prize like what we're going to be giving away tonight. And again, guys, that is the Rugged Ridge Winch Recovery Gear Kit. And this thing is jam-packed with all kinds of goodies. A tree saver, a tow strap, of course the carrying bag, 2 D-ring shackles, a winch line dampener, as well as a full 8-inch, 20,000-pound snatch block, and of course a great set of real leather gloves. This isn't pleather. It's not plastic. It's not cloth. Those are leather, guys. This is some great stuff. And of course, Rugged Ridge makes some great gear as well. I even ran their track bar setup for a while. These guys know off-road, and of course, they've put together one heck of a recovery gear kit. And somebody, one lucky winner tonight, is going to be walking away with this thing.
Well, we have a caller from the 409 area code. You're on the show. Who do we have?
Hello.
Hello.
I figured I'd give you a little bit of suspense. It's Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Hi, Jake. What's the phrase that pays, buddy?
It's where you go when you're not off-road.
Ding, 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 ding. You've got it, pal. You just win the $100 100th episode grand prize, the Rugged Ridge Winch Recovery Gear Kit. I'm sure any one of these items in here you could use, but all of them put together, that's going to be a great addition to the back of the Jeep.
Yes, it will. So what do you think, man?
I just can't believe I actually got it. I'm shaking right now.
Yep, we actually had about 4 calls come in, and actually it looks like Jim's called in 3 times now.
Well, you can stop calling in. We got a winner, Jim.
Yeah. So, yep, you were the very first one. So what was your trick to getting in first, Jake?
I actually did have a trick. I was watching on my phone and had my brother's phone ready. That's why it's a different number.
Oh, okay. Yep, because I didn't recognize. I always label the people that called in, and it when I saw that 409 area code, I was like, oh, well, we may have actually. I was trying to think of where 409 was. I was thinking it was Georgia, but I can't remember.
It's Beaumont area.
Ah, okay. So close to Georgia. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, Jake, are you gonna be able to put this to good use? You got room in the Jeep for this recovery kit?
Oh, I always have room. I just don't have a winch. But good thing is, my brother does.
Hey, very good. Yeah, I mean, just even having this on, in the Jeep, if you need recovery, you don't have a winch, you've got all this stuff handy for when somebody does pull up with a winch. Makes their job a lot easier when you're recovering. But of course, when you do finally get a winch, you've got all the tools at your disposal for any kind of recovery, whether it's your own rig or somebody else's.
Now, Jake, you're a previous winner, and I'd like to know, number 1, did you get your gift card? And number 2, what did you get with it?
Oh, yeah.
I did get it, and sadly, I have not chosen anything yet. If some people may have seen on the side, I've been having some family issues, so I just haven't had much time.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to make sure that if you did that you did get it, and of course, there's no time limit on there that I'm aware of. So enjoy, and hopefully you'll be able to.
Okay.
Actually, with the gift certificate you're going to get tonight, you can put those 2 things together and get something bigger.
So what you're saying, Jake, is you haven't bought anything yet.
I don't think he heard you.
Exactly. Oh, I did. I got it.
All right. So this I think the value of the StarCraft 2 was $29.99. So you'll be getting a gift certificate for $29.99, and then you'll be receiving the Rugged Ridge. What is that thing, Josh?
That is it's a recovery gear. Recovery gear kit. So, yeah. It's not just a winch recovery gear kit. There's things in here that can definitely help you out, even if you don't have a winch. But all this primarily is focused for winching. Obviously, the snatch block is something you would use during a winch. The tree saver as well. Now, if you've got a come along, if you've got a good maybe 8,000 pound come along, that can definitely get you out of a sticky situation and be used in conjunction with some of this gear. And it's a great alternative, a low cost alternative for the ability to recover yourself out of a sticky situation if you don't have a winch. You can pick those things up obviously through Amazon or even at your local Harbor Freight or Northern Tool.
Yep, and if you do get it through Amazon, make sure you click on the banner at XJTalk or xjtalkshow.com. Yeah, it has a 2-inch by 30 foot or feet, 20,000 pound recovery strap. So, and a premium 3-inch by 6 foot, 30,000 pound tree trunk protector. So I know you can use those things to at least help pull somebody out. You don't have to have a winch to use this stuff.
Definitely.
That's right.
Well, Jake, thanks a lot.
A winch is in the plans, so it will get used.
Oh, I know you will use it.
Before I go, I wanted to thank you guys and congratulate you on your 100th episode.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
You bet. All right, take care, Jake.
Trying to remember how to work the board. We don't do calls often enough, Josh. Well,
oh, yeah.
Well, guys, that was our Amazon You Bought and What contest. Wow, Josh, 100th episode. It feels good to give something away. It's always fun.
It does.
This is Brandy Cherry from Every Inch Counts, and you're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
I got then almost clicked the Walking Dead segment. It's still on the board.
It's flashing at you with a greenish zombie-like appearance.
Touch me.
We welcome and look forward to your questions and comments. Dial 530-675-4102 and leave your message on our 24/7 voicemail.
Hey, this is Mark from DetoursUSA.com. You're listening to the XJ Talk Show.
Real quick, I want to mention something about Mark over at DetoursUSA.com. Yeah. I contacted him the other day. Matt actually was asking me. He had sent me a picture of a mount to put a LED light bar to mount it on a Cherokee. Now, there's quite a few out there for JKs and TJs and stuff, and I think a lot of that has to do with the windshield just being flat. It's pretty easy to put a light bar and have it match up properly. And if you try to do something similar to an XJ, it has that curve to it, and it can cause a bit of a problem with the edges kind of sticking out there far. And he sent me a picture and said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I was like, "Well, don't you have your 40-inch LED light bar mounted on your Jeep already?" He said, "Well, I took off the cargo rack, so he would like to, still be able to have the light and have the rack off." Now, where he works, it's very, very low in the parking garage. So I think it's like 6'4" or something. So with a Cherokee and a 6.5-inch lift on 33s, that's getting kind of close. And really. So he took the rack off. So in case he needed to, he rides the Metro bus in every day, but in case he needed to go in for something, he wanted to be able to take his prized Jeep that he's been working on.
So, and air down before you hit the parking garage.
Oh, exactly. So I started poking around because I'd like to have one of those too, but I don't like the idea of having to have the cargo rack that you can bolt the thing onto. I just don't like the cargo rack. I'll probably get one, but it will be one that I will have hanging up in the garage and then use if I'm going to bug out someplace or go camping, or not something just to ride around with all the time. So
I've got a sunroof in my Cherokee, and so I don't have that insulation right above my head, and my roof rack is just aft of my sunroof. And of course, I've got some lights up on my rack as well. But roof racks are they certainly don't make the Jeep any more aerodynamic.
No.
So they produce a fair amount of wind noise, especially when you got a bunch of lights up there. Now the low profile LED lights, and although they do have a flat face to them, they are definitely a lot more, or a lot
smaller.
less, rather, obtrusive as far as, wind noise goes, as like these big, 4x6 lights that I've got.
Yeah. So I did some digging around, and man, I could not find anything that looked acceptable to put a 40-inch. All it did was mount like a 42-inch LED light bar to your Cherokee, low profile, etc. There's nothing out there. And I went, you know what? Mark has those A-pillar mounts for traditional like KC lights or PIA or any of those. And I thought, maybe he is working on something, or maybe he's thought about using those A-pillar mounts, just mounting them up higher and building a larger bracket to hold a light bar, and that would be very low. And that's exactly what I'd like to have, and it would be perfect for Matt. So I contacted him, and he says, yeah, I've been working on something for 7 months.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And so he sent me some pictures, and then shortly after that, he posted up on Facebook with some more pictures of what he's been working on. So if you guys are interested in a light bar, but you don't know how you're going to mount it to your Cherokee, Mark's come up with a really nice way of doing that. You probably have to go over to Detours USA on Facebook to be able to see it. But
you haven't put it up on the website yet?
No, he has a hard time getting a hold of his web admin to make changes and things. So it might be a little while before that shows up. But you can catch a glimpse of it on his Facebook page, and if I remember, which I'll try to do that, I'll put it up in our show notes. But basically, it does not require any drilling. Mark has designed it to mount directly to the factory using the screws on the factory rail system.
Oh, wow. Way cool.
Yep. The only problem is for people like Josh that don't have a full rack.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that little bit of conversation came up in one of the last couple episodes as to where the rails end, and some of them don't come very far forward, and we couldn't really determine what really is the choice behind Jeep, which model, which trim package, whatever, gives you the full length rails, and which ones give you the shorter rails. And of course, I've got a sunroof. I don't know if that came into play. I've already got a roof rack. I've already got lights up on the top. So it's not really a huge concern to me, but it's definitely an interesting question nonetheless as to, which Jeeps came with these extended rails and which ones didn't.
Yeah. I think the short rails, as I call them, they're around the B pillar, because the 99 that we have is like that. Hey, we got a call. I don't know if Jim was calling in to get on the show, but he's sitting there waiting, so I'm gonna bring him in. Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. I only called in twice. My phone dropped the call the first time.
Oh, I know you were staging the number. You were close.
Yeah.
You were close though. We had about 5 people call in trying to get that prize tonight, which is great.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, there's quite a few viewers in YouTube live events right now. That's great.
Yep. Hey, let me ask you a quick question. I didn't get to it tonight, and we're going to be wrapping the show here pretty quick. I just noticed we've been having too much fun. It's already over an hour. But I want to ask you a quick question. I got the heavy duty, or actually extreme duty track bar from Iron Man Andy. I got that installed on the 98 this afternoon, and I was a little concerned about putting the heavy duty RC track bar on the 99 since it only had a 3-inch lift, and of course it's rated for 4 to 6 inches. Matt said that you bought the one from him, and doesn't count, guys. I'm just picking on Josh. You got the one from him, and you guys installed it, and you hadn't had any problems with it, because I think that's what you have is a 3-inch lift. So my question is, have you had any bump steer or any issues with that track bar?
No, not really. The only issue that I did have was it was coming loose on the axle side just a little bit. I tightened up the bolt a little bit, and because I could turn my steering wheel, and I was hearing some grinding and whatnot, and that was part of it. Now I still got a little bit of grinding in my steering, which I actually think is my steering box. But other than just retightening those bolts just a little bit more, I haven't had any issues with it, and it's going to be great for whenever I go a little bit higher on my list.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You could take that. You can use that one all the way up to 6.5. Now, you know the reason why I changed mine. I mean, I definitely wanted to try to help the death wobble issue that we're having on the 99, but I changed mine because the original one I bent out at Creekside. Creekside is an off-road park here in the Houston area, North Houston area.
Right. I think if I remember correctly, Matt had bent. It was either this one or one of the other rough country track bars he had bent. But
yeah, I think you got the replacement.
It's not giving me any issues.
Yeah, I think you got the replacement. So, well, great. I'm looking forward to that. I took a test drive in it and it felt fine. I didn't feel any bump steer, but still got the death wobble. So I just ordered some more parts to replace. So hopefully Wednesday those will come in. Hey, Jim, gonna let you run. Thanks for calling in. So, guys, let's see. Roll the music, dumbass. And if you guys don't know, I'm the one in control of the board. I'm not talking to Josh.
Yeah. So it says the guy with all the master controls. Yeah.
Hey, man, it'd be fine with me for you doing this stuff because I could just sit there and look at you with a scowl on my face like, what the hell are you doing over there, Josh?
Hey. I was just like, hey, he's got a master plan. I'll let him push the buttons. All right.
Well, guys, it's our 100th episode. And, Josh and I do really enjoy doing this show, and we love giving away prizes. But it would be wonderful if you guys, not only taking the time to listen to the show, would take the time to let people know about the show so we can have more listeners, more people calling in. I can envision a show in the future where we just talk to people on the phone for the whole hour.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely be something that we'll put on the books here soon and just have an episode where we just take live calls. I think that would be great. I think we can definitely do it. Guys, we don't ask you guys for much. Obviously, the Amazon thing is great, and you guys have definitely stepped up and are certainly helping us keep the lights on and, of course, the webpage up and the talk show going over here at the XJ Talk Show Command Center. But, if you can't afford to do any online shopping, we completely understand. All we ask is you guys tell a friend.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice having a little extra cash to pay for the various and sundries, electricity, internet service provider, et cetera, But the most important thing is your interaction with us. In fact, we would love to have a Wrangler segment on the show. And if you know somebody that would like to be a part of the show, we'd love to have somebody come in here and that knows a lot about Wranglers and maybe do a weekly segment, or every maybe once a month. It doesn't have to be all the time. And if you guys are out in the field and you've got your smartphone, you can load up an app called Tape a Talk, and you can do interviews and submit them for us, and we'll be happy to play them on the show. So there's all kinds of ways you guys can get involved. It doesn't require any money. It just requires you listening, you watching, and maybe some of your time to be involved. And I think it'd be a wonderful thing for us all to do this and have fun together.
Absolutely. You guys, if you do want to get involved, we do have a couple different ways that you can do that. Obviously, Tony mentioned how you guys can get some audio onto the show. Of course, you can call our 24/7 voicemail line of call. Leave a message 24/7. Nobody's going to ever answer that line. It's 530-675-4102.
And you can also go to the xjtalkshow.com website for more information on how to get involved in other ways. Well, that was fun. I didn't even notice that we were over an hour.
I knew we were going to go long tonight, and I sort of had planned on it. I wanted to make sure that for the 100th episode, it wasn't just a run-of-the-mill show. And that's kind of why I sort of pulled from my hip a surprise and started asking you some of those questions, sort of a mock interview, if you will, and help people kind of get to know us a little bit better. And especially, I thought it was very proper to sort of talk about the beginnings of all of this,
sure,
especially for a milestone show like this. So,
no, it's great.
Sorry to sort of throw that on you, just all of a sudden. But I knew that you could sort of take it in stride.
Yeah, it wasn't a problem at all. I thought it was a great idea. It's not I enjoyed it. So I don't have to be talking all the time. I can sit back and be asked questions. Dan keeps talking about having me on the show to do an interview, and I'm like, okay, Yeah,
right?
I can answer questions. I can talk a long time. It's not a problem.
He's got a milestone as well coming up. He's got his 50th episode coming up. I think it's his next show, the next one coming out, whatever. So I called and left a couple of voicemails with him, sort of a promo-esque type of feel to him. But one of them was congratulating him for his 50 episodes.
Oh, you know what? I need to do that. I need to record one here. Maybe we should do it together.
Oh yeah, because he's got the same. Geez, what is that called? Where you click on the side of the
page
there and you can start recording a message.
No. We'll do it just like we're doing here, because I can take him. I can send him a WAV file or an MP3 file rather, and he'll mix it in. I recently, and I was going to tell you about this anyway. I recently. They had a segment where somebody had a 1986, I think, Suburban, and they were asking how much lift they would have to put on to get like 36-inch tires or 33-inch tires or something. And it was kind of unusual because that's something that I can actually speak to, because I had a 1983 short wheelbase Chevrolet pickup. And I was able to call in and say, hey, man, I was listening to this on your show and I heard this and I thought, wow, I can actually contribute. And 4 inches of lift, 36.5-inch tires. And it's great unless you want to turn. And then you'll rub a little. So I actually trimmed the lower inner fender on the front at the tire shop where I got the tires and wheels put on. And I was able to drive it like that from there on. And I would actually it was like half an inch maybe. And I would actually have to point it out to people. I was like, wow, those tires really fit up inside that truck. And it gave it a neat look. Everybody was doing 6-inch lifts. And I was trying to keep it. I didn't understand the need for the distance. Yeah. I didn't understand that you need the distance for flexing and stuff. To me, it is a big truck. It's just up high on the road, and you go in mud. So what do I care about flex? And there was no internet, so I didn't know. Anyway, so people really liked the look, though. And I said, yeah, unfortunately, I had to cut the fenders to be able to put those tires on there. And they go, where? And I'd have to show them. And I didn't do anything to it. I cut it off at the tire shop, and that's the way it was till the day I got rid of it.
Oh, I'll be darned.
Yep. So fun things you do when you're young, and sometimes they bleed over to when you're not so young. Well, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Josh and I are going to record our video promo for this show. And we do that in private because we get comfortable before we do it. So really appreciate you being here for the 100th episode of the XJ Talk Show. Again, please tell your friends. And once we see the numbers, we had great numbers tonight. Once we see the numbers consistent up, we'll throw in a segment where we take calls, and we may even do just calls. An episode like once a month, so that we just spend the entire hour, Josh and I, shooting the shit and waiting for somebody to call in, and then talking to you guys and letting you shoot the shit with us. Let us know what's going on with your Jeep, and just the stuff that we talk about on the forum, but live and in color.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tony and I have talked about it in the past, and we really want to do that. We need your guys' help to do it. So be sure you guys head out, at least tell one friend about the show. Maybe even sit down and listen to an episode with them, or pop it up on YouTube. And thanks for watching.